Hey watchers, it's your girl Big Ish. Welcome back to my channel. This week's Throwback Thursday flick is Harlem Nights. But before we get into it, I want you to go ahead, click the like button. I want you to leave a comment down below, and I want you to hit the notification bell so you can get all the new latest movies that are on your TV every week. I usually upload on Thursday and Fridays. I am a reviewer and this is a review channel. If that's something that interests you, I want you to stay tuned. So again, like I said, this week we're reviewing Harlem Nights with Eddie Murphy. So many stars were in this movie. Richard Pryor, Red Foxx, Thomas Ford, Arsenio Hall is in this movie, Robin Harris, Della, Reese, Lela, Rochon, Jasmine Guy, who else is in this movie? Charlie Murphy, the late Charlie. So many people in this movie are long gone. So many great comedic talents. And RIP to all of them. So many of the greats were in this movie. It's incredible how many people from the comedic world was cast in this movie. It's based in the 1930s. The first scene opens with a little young Quick, and he's making a delivery, and he goes into speakeasy or a little club where Richard Pryor, who plays Sugar Ray, Red Foxx, who plays Bennie, are, running tables and running numbers in there. So one of the patrons is disturbed by Little Quick's presence. And so he says, I can't win and I can't play with a little kid around. And he's very ornery and upset. Ray tries to get him to just go ahead and play. He ends up crapping out and he wants his money back, and he also wants another turn. Sugar Ray says that's not going to happen. He goes to reach for his gun because, this patron has his knife out to his throat. And when he reaches for his gun is not there. It's gone. Just as he realized that his gun is missing, Little Quick pulls out the gun and shoots the patron right between the eyes. Fast forward 20 years later, Little Quick is now a grown man and he's a nightclub owner. He is partners with Bennie and Sugar Ray. While they're tending to their beautiful club, a beautiful Jasmine Guy walks in and she plays Dominque, LaRue. Quick is of course smitten by the beautiful Dominque. Of course he wants to ask her out on a date. The running joke throughout the film is that Bennie, who is played by Red Foxx, cannot see, and so he calls all the wrong numbers when they're at the crap table, and everybody's mad and angry at him, but he's of course cute and lovable, and they give him a pass. Ray makes him put on his glasses, and they're thick as Coke bottles, and it's hilarious to see him look through those glasses. So then it cuts to this mobster. He's kind of the villain in the movie, the bad guy, and his name is Bugsy, of course, and he's threatened by this little black nightclub. One of his workers, Tommy, who is played by the late Thomas Ford, he always seems to play Tommies. He played a Tommy in Martin, and he played a Tommy in this movie. So he walks in, he works for Bugsy, who is the local mob boss, and Bugsy is convinced that somebody is stealing money from him. He believes that it's Tommy, and he also is concerned about Sugar Ray, Bennie, and Quick's nightclub that is taking food off of his table. Somehow they're a threat. He's losing money on the streets, and he believes it's because of their club. Bugsy also has a crooked cop in his back pocket. The cop's name is Sergeant Phil Cantone. Now, they also run a prostitution ring in this club, and Vera, who is played by Della Reese, is the madam of these girls. And after the club is closed, they all get together to tally up Quick, Sugar Ray, and Bennie, and all of the guys, and they said that the girls are coming up short. So Della Reese comes in, and her character is larger than life and of course hilarious. And Quick accuses her of always coming up short. So when he does that, she's like, well, what you mean by that? Like, what are you trying to say? And then he's just like, I'm saying y'all coming up short. And she's offended by this because to her, it seems like he's trying to say that she's stealing. So she tells him to bring his stuff right on outside, and they can settle it outside. And, Quick thinks that she's joking. He thinks that this is funny, and he kind of plays along, takes off his coat and goes outside, and Della Reese puts him on his wallet. They end up really getting into it. Quick returns a jab, and Vera goes after him. They start fighting, and he actually throws a trash can on her. It's so funny. And she pulls out a knife and he shoots her in the pinky toe. And that's all you hear for the rest of the movie is about how Vera got shot in the pinky toe. After the fight at the club, Sugar Ray goes home. When he opens the door, he realizes that somebody's already in his home and sitting in his chair. And it's Sergeant Phil Cantone, the crooked cop that Bugsy has in his back pocket. Now he goes on to ask Sugar Ray, what do you do for a living? Well, how do you have these tailored suits? I'm a cop and I don't have the nice things that you have. I don't have this beautiful home. And Ray says, well, I own a candy store. And he says, well, that's odd because I didn't know candy was making this much money. Like you really seem like you have a lucrative career off of candy. And Ray was like, well, that's all I can tell you, So Sergeant Cantone says, all right, well, I'll see you around, and he leaves, but he really just wants to let Ray know that he's on his radar and that he's watching him. So the next day they're at the club, and Quick gets a telegraph from Dominque, and it says that she wants to meet to have dinner. And of course he takes the bait. He's so thirsty for this girl. He can't wait to go out with her. Turn around, and here's Sergeant Cantone up in their club, looking all around, poking his nose and everything. He goes over to Sugar Ray and it's like, look, you lied to me. You said you sold candy. And Ray was like, well, you got me. What you gonna do? You gonna take me in? And he was like, no. He was like, I work for, the mob boss Bugsy, and we want you to go into business with us. So then he proceeds to say, you guys make 15 grand a week. We want 10. They hatch a plan to outsmart the mobsters. At the end of the day, it was a great movie. It wasn't as funny as I thought it would be for all of these iconic comedians on one stage. I think the funny was more so the undertones of the jokes, but it was great stuff. I mean, so many people, Arsenio Hall, just every great comic that ever graced the stage was in this movie. And it must have been just amazing to be a part of. I can't even imagine. I know that Eddie Murphy did Comedians in Cars with Jerry Seinfeld. And the interview that they did, it wasn't kind of like an interview. But yeah, because Jerry Seinfeld was interviewing these comedians, and Eddie Murphy did say that he felt that Richard Pryor was intimidated by him when he first came on the scene. So I'm wondering how this movie was offset. Did they have any tension between them? And I'm thinking they probably didn't at this point, for somebody to reach out to both of them to do a movie together. And also in the movie, Ray becomes Quick's father, or his mentor, and Quick is the mentee, and he's kind of training him to not be a hothead and just him to think and not work off of emotion. So I'm wondering if they ended up having that kind of dynamic in their real life towards the end of Richard Pryor's life, because he did say that Richard was intimidated by him and that he had heard that through the grapevine. So I'm not sure. I wonder what the dynamic was like on set. All of these great people, it just must have been hilarious. And you could tell at certain points that some of the funny was spontaneous and that they kept it and people were laughing. But I'm sure they just had the best time ever. This movie is on ScreenPix. I never heard of this channel, but it's on. I have it. I have this channel. It's free for me, I guess. Or I'm paying for it. Nothing's free. I'm paying for it. But I mean, I never heard of this channel, but they have a lot of great movies on here, and I'm finding a lot of things that I like on ScreenPix. I'm finding a lot of throwbacks. So, it's on ScreenPix. If you have demand, it's on demand. It's free. Go ahead, click on it, watch it, enjoy it. Watch it like it's the first time you're going to see it. Enjoy seeing all those faces of so many comedians past. It's really eerie, honestly, when you think about it. To see all those great people just in one movie together. When will that ever happen again? It won't. Also Eddie Murphy has Coming to America 2 coming out, And that should have been out in August, but I'm sure they pushed it back because of the pandemic. I don't know when they're going to be able to release that because that movie is done. And they are waiting for, I think, the world to open back up before they release it. But who knows when that'll be. It just seems like COVID is getting worse and worse and worse. So I'm thinking that, you know, if I was them, I'd sell it to Netflix for $60 million. I mean, they paid Dave Chappelle $40 million for 3 series. They can definitely pay $60 million for Coming to America too. But for all of us to watch for free, that would be great, you know, and it would be worth it. No need to hold on to Coming to America 2. Everybody knows that that movie should have been out in August. Like, let it go, you guys. What do you think? Listen, even if Coming to America 2 does come out shortly, I'm not going to be the first ones in the movie theater. I'm just not. I'm too afraid. And I have to be honest, I'll wait till it comes on demand. I don't know. But this is, I think, going to be just as iconic as Harlem Nights. If you have time, check it out. It's still a great movie. It's still a great flick to watch. See all of those faces live, moving, acting, living life, and so many of those people just gone. So tell me what you think. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.